common ground, never middleman, understand. This is Trippin' Jim, we do what we want, you do what you can. Can you comprehend? If I think, then therefore I am. This is not a test, y'all should've came with a plan. I'ma stand on this conversation, ain't no constant hating. You need to get to the point, and we bring in the navigation. If it's a fork in the road, we'll make a lane in the grass.
You are now tuned in to the Dead Center Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is Trip.
And I'm Jim.
This is Dead Center, where we try to conversate, not constant hate. Get to the point. And it's round 2 today.
Yeah.
We'll be posting...
Heat 2.
Right. We'll be posting the episode you should have already seen by now if you're watching the second round of debate coverage from us. Mm-hmm. And this is going over the debates from last night, the Democratic debates. But first, please, can we just address how trash MSNBC is?
Garbage. I mean, it was just... I thought last night was bad, or I thought 2 nights ago was bad. Last night was worse. I mean, first of all, you're already... I understand you're like herding sheep, right? I mean, there's a lot of candidates. They're the front runners in the middle, and then there's the fringe that have the front runners in front of them to go after. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants a say about everything. Mm-hmm. I get that. But, like, they were awful. I didn't used to have any kind of opinion on Chuck Todd. I now hate Chuck Todd. I hate his voice. I hate... Anytime I hear Chuck Todd interrupt anybody, I'm going to throw something at my TV.
Yep. Damn it, Chuck.
I mean, it was... No, some of these questions were just insane. Right at the... I mean, I know we're going to start at the beginning, but towards the end, there were these 3 minutes that were just the strangest 3 minutes in debate history, in my opinion.
Well, you didn't think they could top the moderators leaving their microphones on backstage.
I don't know if they didn't have a gaffe like that, but I mean, they were just
but it was
bad.
just as bad. It was just as bad and dumb looking. Like when Rachel Maddow is passive aggressively being mean to the audience.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like what people do when they like say a bunch of like they say something in a super nice voice so it sounds like they're joking, but you know deep down they are not joking.
It's like she was dry snitching, right? Like when your brother tells you not to do something in front of your mom or dad. Yeah. They're like, you know what I mean? And they're like telling on you without telling on you.
Right.
It's the same kind of concept. She's treating the audience like, chill. No, really. No, really. Yeah. Can you be quiet?
You know what? They would have more time if you would shut up. That was like, it was just like,
if she would have said that,
really?
It wouldn't have been much different.
You and your Chuck Todd need to shut up.
Right.
Like, let's be honest. Like they need to condense their questions because that question towards the end. I mean, it was a good 3 minutes, but a minute and a half of it was Chuck Todd proposing a question that had a hypothetical and an example, and then the question rounded off with, "Oh yeah, and definitely only answer me in a word or two."
2 words, yeah. Everybody was like, Psh. Yeah,
right. And we'll get to that, but first, so the real big loser of the night was MSNBC. The winners of the night, in my opinion, were Chuck Todd and Savannah Guthrie, who was thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator.
No, the real winner was Donald Trump. Because he sat on his Twitter handle and was like, look at these idiots. Like, although he should be shaking in his boots at Kamala Harris. So that brings me to my first point. As far as actual winners from the debate, Kamala Harris knocked it out of the park last night, and she really did the best out of both debates.
Out of the 2 nights, I think that because she was already, like, she was of the top candidates that everyone knew who they were and why they were running for president and their background in politics. Out of all of those candidates, she did the most for herself and progressed the most.
Well, she was on the way down coming into these debates.
Right.
She had been bashed over immigration. She had been bashed over her policy as far as arresting parents of kids who are truant. Like, there was a lot of echoing of prison to pipeline or pipeline to prison schooling from her that people were pissed about and didn't know. She was on the way down.
The school to prison pipeline.
School to prison. Yeah, I did not articulate that well. I'm sorry. But yeah, she was on the way down. And I think yesterday we even said it. We were like, going into this, Kamala has the most to prove. Right. She has to do the most.
We did
and she did. She flat out crushed it.
And she definitely, the one thing that Kamala, I think, did the most for herself was get a chunk of the African-American votes that were still polling towards Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I mean, he was over 30%. I believe that was the number.
Over 30% for the African-American
I don't think he's going to be polling that high with the African-American vote after last night.
Think after last you have to assume.
And it'll be towards Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris definitely, that one she knocked it out of the park.
She helped out herself for the black vote. She helped herself out for a lot of the people who were sitting on the fence about Joe Biden. She drew blood. Like, she went at him about his checkered past prior to Obama.
Now, in the future, I predict that someone will now come after it. I doubt it'll be Biden. Right now, he's not polling below her. If he drops enough to now no longer be number one, he might do something like this, but I don't see it coming from Biden. But someone who maybe is going to be completely outshined this round. They see the reviews and they realize that their name's just not mentioned. Someone like that might come at Kamala Harris about the school to prison pipeline stuff and her time as a prosecutor, her whole scandal with the mayor of San Francisco, I believe that's one.
Right.
So
Jerry Brown.
Right. All of that stuff is going to come. It didn't show up last night. She did go after Joe Biden for race. She mentioned the bus stuff. She didn't mention the crime. No one mentioned the crime bill in '94.
But she's
super surprised at that because he's sitting at the top.
Right, but she wasn't going to be the one to bring that up because she was the DA in.
So once Booker and he get on the same stage, then
I think Booker will be the one to go at him because
someone's got to bring it up.
She doesn't have the background to stand on to point and say.
Then why wouldn't Bernie bring it up? Bernie's sitting there at number 2 right behind him.
Because I honestly think Bernie was a little flustered last night. Let's get to
he was
losers
pissed.
in a minute.
He and I agreed wholeheartedly on our opinions of Chuck Todd.
Apparently. No, so you had let's see. Kamala was an outright winner last night. I think other than when Eric Swalwell went head up at Buttigieg, other than that, he did great.
I think that when he went head up to Buttigieg, he did. Mayor Pete was knocked off of his pedestal the same way that Tulsi Gabbard was knocked off the night prior.
Yes.
I believe that they got a softball question. Hey, this is a besmirchment on your record. Explain this. And it was a very, here you go, here's your moment. Tulsi Gabbard knocked it out of the park, and then Cory Booker tried to check her.
Attempted to check her.
Didn't really do it. I mean, he did. He mentioned what he wanted to mention, but I feel like Tulsi Gabbard wasn't being attacked properly if your whole point was about transgender, specifically African American transgender.
Right.
If that's your whole point, then Tulsi Gabbard's voting record with LGBT is that's gay conversion. That's at the top level. You're talking about the very deep equality that needs to be found. I get that, but Tulsi Gabbard is not down here. She's anyway. My point is that same kind of thing happened to him when it came to the shooting question, which you brought up. That was
yesterday. I predicted that he would falter at that. I didn't think he would do so well.
He did very well as far as his answer.
Everywhere else in the debate. That's why I said he's a winner because other than that specific instance, he did well at everything else. I didn't expect him to do that well. I figured he'd be shaken, and I also didn't expect MSNBC to lob him easy questions.
That's
all
true.
night.
He was very much and
he
didn't play. He didn't play the gay card the same way that we saw Kamala kind of play the race card. I don't think he needed to the same way Kamala did. I think that was much more of a tact thing, very tactful on both accounts, Kamala and Mayor Pete.
Right.
But that one question, again, he had a very similar answer to Tulsi, whereas it was very rehearsed. You could tell it was very thought out. It was cohesive. It was coherent. It was It was he was elaborating on what he can do to be better. But then, of course, same kind of thing. That's not good enough. When Booker came in, same kind of thing.
Yeah,
Swalwell came in and was like, "Hey, you're the executive. You can do better. Like you could do this. You could fire him. You could fire this person who's ever's responsible. Blah blah blah."
Well, and
Mayor Pete was like, it's on my shoulders.
When Mayor Pete started to explain, and Swalwell just went for it, and he was just. No, why? No, why? No, you need to answer for that. And didn't give him much. And at that point, Chuck Todd or whoever was trying to intervene.
It was Kamala Harris actually.
It was
saved
Kamala.
him.
It was,
Kamala
somebody was
Harris
cutting
jumped
in.
Well, she saw an opportunity. She took it. And she did it at every moment, which is why we're saying she's the winner here.
Yep.
And I believe the internet agrees as far as last night goes.
I'm going to say that the third place is going to be a tie between Swalwell and Williamson for me. Because and that's as fun. And when I say winner, I say the person who did the most for themselves.
Right.
And for two candidates, nobody knew anything about going into this. From what I saw, they both played it well. Swalwell dug a knife in the side of somebody who has not had that done to them yet.
No one's come after Mayor Pete.
Right.
The side eye. Can we talk about the side eye?
Woo, buddy.
Whew. Mayor Pete shot a look that bore a hole into Swalwell's face.
Yes.
I mean, goodness.
Good man. It was like those memes where it's like when your girl's looking at you tell a story about you with other girls,
right?
And it's just this.
Like, oh man,
my
no, but it
gosh.
was very much a you wait till later. I think that
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that if Swalwell sticks around long enough, Mayor Pete's going to do dirty. I think that he's going to do him dirty. I think that
Well-
and maybe not like a low blow, but definitely something that it's like, okay, you want to talk about someone messing up? Let's talk about someone messing
He's
up.
going to have to come on the offense next time because while he
Definitely.
did well, he didn't go on the offense in the same way Bernie tried to, in the same way Kamala did, in
Right,
the same
right.
way Swalwell did, in the same and the other person who did well for himself that I was tying Swalwell with was
Marianne Williamson.
Marianne Williamson.
Who's an author. She's a
She's an
self-help
author. Number one, she has the same. She has the Donald Trump effect in the fact that she doesn't have a record you can point at, right? She can stand up and say you're all full of it, which she did.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Twice.
The two opportunities she had to say what are y'all gonna do about it, she did. She wasn't like Swalwell who called out one person at a time because he hit Biden and he hit. No, she looked at everybody and said, "What are y'all gonna do?" and got an applause at
Right.
least one of them. Like,
But again, she's a candidate whose entire thing right now, at least, is we're gonna do better for families. I think is kind of her policy,
Right.
and then we're gonna beat Donald Trump. I mean, her and Biden both have that in common. She and
Right.
Biden have it. But I think there was one point, and I'm gonna get back to that 3 minutes thing, where
Yeah.
Chuck Todd was talking about how when Obama got elected, he had two major things that were the foundation of his campaign. The things that he wanted to accomplish were healthcare and climate change. He got one done. Obviously that's healthcare.
Right. The minute and a half description of the question.
Right, and then he goes into that example. He goes into the hypothetical of if you're president, you may or may not get more than one thing done. If there's only one thing, it's really easy to ask that question in a much fewer words. You didn't have to even bring up Obama. I mean, you threw Biden kind of a softball when you said that, but you didn't bring up Obama. And that's the thing is Biden, he's trying so hard to make this name
man.
interchangeable. I guess he succeeded for me. But Biden, when that question was presented, they said Obama only got one thing done. And Biden was way more ticked off about that and went to bat for him rather than answering the question.
Well, but that wasn't even. But the thing is, that wasn't even that wasn't even the point of the question.
No, it wasn't.
You
But
know?
the thing is because he said that, I guess
Biden's
Chuck
you
Todd
guys are really-
confused Biden by being like, by the way, Obama wasn't that great. What are you going to do? And
all right.
Biden's like, wait a minute, Obama was great.
Speaking of confused old men, let's get to losers because I want to say
Right.
my number 3 loser, which is for me Joe Biden. Eric
Okay.
Swalwell got on him, and then Kamala really she had him
She went after him
flustered.
without having him to say it. He didn't have to say anything. Like, as soon as someone brought up race, it was Buttigieg brought up race, said we have to get rid of systemic racism in our policing system.
And then
So a little bit of
yeah.
justice reform, that was another thing for me. Not enough justice reform. Justice reform is a
Yep.
huge issue for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And like you said, Kamala Harris should be the one talking about it, but she might have to, say a few sorries first.
Yep. Absolutely.
But
I'm
no
ready-
one brought it up.
I'm ready
enough.
for her softball question so that somebody can get on her about it.
I think it's going to happen, and I think the person that's going to get onto her about it is going to be Bernie. Bernie's going to. I think it's going to have to be Bernie, or it's going to be, if they get on the same stage, it's going to have to be a Booker or a Warren to get another leg up. Because the lower candidates, when I say lower, I mean the lower tier candidates, the ones that are sitting on the outside, like the Williamson and like Swalwell, the people that we didn't really know anything about until these debates. And granted, both of them did much better than the two candidates that were in those positions the night before, much better. But anyway, no one brought up criminal justice reform, but as soon as Buttigieg said something about race, it was about getting rid of systemic racism, and then Kamala Harris was just like, "Yeah, I'd like to speak on race. Yeah, can I speak on race?"
Yeah,
and
let
they
the
were
black
like,
lady speak on race.
right,
is
and
what
then
she said,
and
essentially.
then it was Savannah
Guthrie.
It was Ms. Guthrie that basically said, "You have 30 seconds," and then let her go for like 2.5 minutes, and which was fine. Like, it's a heartstring point. It's a social point. It's an important point.
And honestly, who's going to stop the
Right,
black woman from talking about race?
Of
Yeah.
course. But it took a while, and then it was directed immediately. It's like, I actually am pointing this
Yeah,
at Joe Biden. And in
right,
my
right.
opinion, that's because she's going after the fact that he's holding the black vote for some reason, and she doesn't, and rightfully so. She doesn't think he should. In my opinion.
Well,
that's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think that's a far off opinion at all. I mean, you look at his history, and he's right now, and the thing with Kamala is why I'm saying he's my number 3 loser, because you have that, and then you have his checkered history, and with the '94 crime bill and the stuff she talked about with busing, segregation, stuff like that, and then you have his history as Obama's wingman, and the reason Obama picked him was to appeal to more moderate voters when they were running mates. So he's trying to lean on that. I'm President Obama's guy. Vote for me, damn
when
it.
he answered that really, really freaking weird, again, the weirdest moment in debate history in my lifetime at least.
Right.
Since I've been paying attention, the weirdest moment was when Chuck Todd spent a minute and a half trying to get one-word answers, got paragraphs from everybody, but Biden's response was, first, defend Obama. Like, what do you mean Obama only got one thing done? You are greatly...
Defend Obama, defeat Trump.
And then, yeah, it's like the first thing I'm going to do as president of the United States is I'm going to defeat Donald Trump in the election. It's like, I understand that's important, but we asked you what you're going to do when you got there.
Yeah.
And it was, and Chuck Todd was snarky about the whole thing, and but it was a gaffe. You didn't answer the question, and the one priority that you mentioned was a priority like, yeah, that's why you're here, but why are you running for president?
Well, that point on from after Kamala got him, he looked flustered. He looked aggravated, flustered. Yeah. He just did. He wasn't.
He was straddling the fence between defending himself and defending Obama.
Well, in every single and if you noticed, every single answer he gave, I did that. I did that. I've done that.
Right.
That was something.
Well,
I
the other person that did that was Hickenlooper.
Yep.
Right? He was like, I'm the only candidate up here that's done these extremely progressive things. I've done all these. Right. And it's like, yeah, you're the only candidate up here. But if Inslee was here, you would be saying the same exact thing Inslee was saying. You'd be the eco governors. Have fun.
Right. Well, that's fair. And all right. So let me get to my number 2 loser. Is my man. I'm really disappointed. Yesterday, I said I was thinking he was going to have a good night. And I expected him to be treated the same way as the lesser candidates just because of how he's polling. Mm-hmm. I didn't expect him to not say anything. And by that, I'm talking about Andrew Yang.
Right. We forgot he was there.
Yeah. It was sad, man. He
Bennett and Yang were the two. Wait, so what are you guys doing here?
Yeah. Bennett was talking. Bennett, Swalwell, Williamson. Even Hickenlooper, and I'm not saying Hickenlooper was as down on the polls, but they were all treated similarly with those bottom 3 not getting anything, having to put in their questions.
Right.
So, or their interjections. So when he didn't do anything or say anything after these specific questions that everybody else is jumping in on, and he's just kind of like, dude, if you can't stand on a Democratic stage, right. with a bunch of Dems and libs and debate, how are you going to get in front of Donald Trump? And debate. And you're not.
I think last night he realized he doesn't have a chance. In my opinion, I think he doesn't, and I think at this point he realizes that he doesn't because, again, I'm going to point at that weird 3 minutes. Whenever he got his turn,
reoccurring theme of today's
I'm
episode.
sorry, man, but that 3 minutes was the most telling 3 minutes. If you don't want to watch and don't want to take our word for it, go watch, just literally Google the weirdest 3 minutes from last night's debate. I'm dead serious. You will find this clip. It's probably on MSNBC, and you will find that it's just Chuck Todd screwing it up for everybody and everyone in session sticking their foot in their mouth. It's what it seemed to me anyway. Mm-hmm. Biden being probably the most foot in mouth. But the Yang went on the one thing that he's really known for. I mentioned it last episode. This episode I'll mention again. He's known for the UBI, the Universal Basic Income. Everyone over 18, a United States citizen, $1,000 a month. He's on that. He got a chance for once in the public's eye to explain how he'd pay for it. He kind of tried to, and then everyone jumped on him, and then he just shut up.
Look, man? And the thing is, when that little sliver of and this is just an example, but the little sliver of justice reform brought up last night, he could have absolutely interjected. You know what one of his second biggest policy is? It's the legalization of the federal legalization of marijuana. And not only that, but he's going to adjudicate everybody that has marijuana crimes not guilty on 420. How you don't say that at the first debate somewhere, I don't know.
It's because just like the Joe Rogan, he's so great in one-on-one, but it's because he speaks back and forth in turn. He's very, very good at accepting the floor and doing the best with it, which is what he tried to do last night. However, he's not good at getting the floor. He's not good at demanding the floor.
No.
And that last 3 minutes, when he said what he said, he was just repeating himself, and the crowd kind of knew it, and he kind of realized it. and he got a laugh.
Yeah.
Like I'm honest to goodness, if you go back and you watch it
You
again,
feel
I'm
bad.
asking you to watch it. These 3 minutes during Yang's portion about where he gets to the point where he's talking about how everyone over 18 gets 1,000. Right when he's about to mention it, he's getting a subtle laugh, a pity laugh from the crowd. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah, it was.
And
It was tough.
While we forgot Yang was there, we could not forget
The number one loser.
that Gillibrand was there.
Goodness, yeah.
What
and,
Delaney did the night before,
Yep.
Gillibrand was horribly guilty of last night.
And the thing is, she's polling exponentially higher than him.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, he's at 0. She's at like 3 or 4.
Delaney had a reason to do it, didn't do it well. Gillibrand had no reason to do it, and she did it horribly.
Right. She did it anyways. It was
Same
like
kinda
she
thing.
was on her toes. She felt like she had to go after Kamala she felt like she deserved the spot Kamala was getting, and you could tell.
Mhm.
Right? She seemed like because she had an answer for everything.
Right.
Every time anybody asked a question, she felt the need. But hey, wait a minute.
Same as Delaney.
Exactly.
Delaney figured
Why
that
aren't
he
you
wouldn't.
asking me?
Right. Delaney figured that he wouldn't get any questions otherwise. I don't know why Gillibrand would feel that way. So I just feel like she had talking points for every question and wanted to make sure that she answered every question. It was very, very like Miss Gillibrand, put your hand down.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Not that everyone wasn't somewhat guilty of it, but bar none, she was the worst. And I think that she did not do as well with it. As,
I would agree.
With anyone else that demanded the floor, kind of like Bennett did a couple times, and then there was a moment again. That last 3 minutes. I'm sorry, we're just gonna go back to it. Bennett's answer was like, you know, it's supposed to be one thing, and he goes, climate change. He like picks his nose for a second. He's like, climate change, and then, you know, the stuff Bernie said.
And then
all I heard was, I give up, vote for Bernie.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I heard from Bennett at that point. So the two biggest losers, in my opinion, were Bennett and Yang. And then Gillibrand, she's polling too high to call her a real loser in the debate. I'm expecting Bennett and Yang to not be at the next one. Kind of like how Ryan is not going to be.
Tim Ryan
is not going to
and
be.
John Delaney won't be at the next one. Yeah.
I don't know if Delaney's going to give up that quick just because of how desperate he looked. But I think
Right.
that Ryan's done.
Yeah.
Ryan thinks Ryan's done.
He ran into a brick wall named Tulsi Gabbard. I mean,
Right.
It is what it is.
I think Ryan's done. I think that Yang's done, unfortunately, because he has so many good points. But he's just not going to be able to survive if he can't debate.
He's exactly. You can't if you can't, like I said, if you can't get on stage in front of with a bunch of Democrats and interject at least with your policies, you can't stand in front of Donald Trump and debate.
Right.
Because while what he lacks in policy, he will make up for in dogging you out.
Yeah, exactly.
And
if the crowd's laughing at you now, holy crap.
yeah, just wait.
Right.
Um,
But the biggest winner that I'm not going to call a real winner will be Williamson. Like you said, she called out the dais twice. The only thing that I think she royally messed up was when she, again, gonna go back at it, the last 3 minutes.
Well, because there was that weird question Chuck Todd asked, and then it seemed like 5 minutes later he said, "All right, everybody, what's your slogan? Like, or
Right.
what do you want to say to the American people?"
Yeah,
it was the closing statements.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But during those 3 minutes, and she was bad at the closing statements.
I
too.
get the message, right? I get it. We want to, like, you know,
Beat
it's the
Donald
whole
Trump.
love Trump's hate and blah blah blah. But nobody wants to hear that right now. Unfortunately, no, that's not the place for that.
Everything else she said was basically it all boiled down to we have to beat Donald Trump or the anti-Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that. However, those 3 minutes, like I said, weirdest moments in debate history or recent debate history, because her answer seemed to be, "I'm gonna call New Zealand and pick a fight with them." Because you didn't. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was
I'm
weird.
dead. So her
Well,
answer,
she was
she was the
like-
last one to go, because we started with Swalwell, and we went Bennett, and we went all the way down the line, and she was all the far left. So like when she got to, it was like, here you are, the last one to hit on this super weird question that literally everyone else except for the first guy to go stuck their foot in his mouth.
I'm gonna call the Prime Minister of New Zealand, and I'm gonna say, "Girl,
Yeah.
you are so on because America's gonna be the nut." Like,
Yeah,
what?
because New
Really?
Zealand's
That's the first policy initiative you're taking.
New Zealand's leader came out and said that their country was the best
best to
place
raise a
for
family.
to raise children, to raise a family, and For some reason, Williamson has a problem with that. So the first thing she's going to
I don't
do,
think
the
it
most
was-
important thing, if you can't get anything else done as president, the first thing you're going to do is I'm going to call New Zealand and tell them they're wrong, that we're the best.
I don't think she meant.
What?
I don't think she meant that she's going to call them and tell them they're wrong. Because I think what she said was, I'm going to call New Zealand and tell her, girl, you are so on because
Wrong.
Did
The
she say wrong or
when I
on?
saw the quote, I saw wrong.
Okay,
And then
okay.
the next thing she says is because the United States is going to be the best.
Okay. It's that, and again, couldn't she? Yeah, I didn't really understand.
I heard, Ms. Williamson, what are you going to
That
do
makes
as
it even
president?
worse.
What's the first thing you do as president? I'm gonna start a war with New Zealand. That's what I heard. I'm
Oh my
sorry.
gosh.
That's what I heard.
Hot take alert.
No, she did great. She did. I didn't know who she was. She was the one candidate that I was actually reading about a lot whenever I Googled her. It wasn't like, oh, governor of whatever or whatever. It was very much, oh, you're an author. You're self-help author. Oh, Oprah's backing you. No
Yeah.
wonder you're here. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But again, that last 3 minutes, every single candidate did something where I'm just like, what?
Yeah, the dog cocking
Yeah.
his head. All right, well, now going forward, what are we looking for? This is the
Bernie to do more.
Yeah, Bernie was a...
He wasn't a no-show.
right.
A lot of people are
did
saying
not
he won, which, again, I'll turn my head to that because I didn't see a winner.
Yeah, I didn't see a winner because I also see somebody who seemed frustrated when...
He hated Chuck Todd.
he hated Chuck Todd, and then whenever I think it was Hickenlooper went at him about Medicare for all, or it was either Hickenlooper. Or, I don't think it was Bennett. One of them went.
Hickenlooper and Swalwell both went after healthcare a little bit, but
right,
Bennett,
and kind of challenged him on it. He seemed a little flustered at that point, but I really liked his closing statement when he said. He said we can come up with plans and we can come up with strategy and anything you want to do, but if we're not going to stand up to the corporate money that is running this country behind the scenes, we're not going to change anything. And then he starts naming them. And when you're doing that on MSNBC in front of millions of people, you're putting a target on your back. The same way he did when he went up against Hillary the first time.
Right.
And while I'm skeptical of how far he's going to go because of that.
Do you think it maybe stemmed from his understanding? Because this is closing statements, like you said. I think he understood a little bit because his first direct question was, Senator Sanders, you're a socialist. Why the hell would America elect you? And he's just kind of like,
right.
Well, I think that you're, wrong about where we are in America and blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, he clearly was taken off guard. Like, the hell is this coming after me right now?
And like I said earlier, Pete Buttigieg was lobbed these questions. While when they would ask the people who were openly Democratic socialists or had very leftist policy agendas, they would come forward and ask them from a right-wing perspective in such a fashion that it would not only fluster the candidate, but it would also cause him to have to defend himself on top of giving out policy information. Whereas
he almost had to defend being a liberal first,
right,
and then get into the actual policy.
Because this is a moderate campaign promise next to the rest of the world.
That was good.
And I've been working on it for a while. But compared to the rest of the world, what he's offering as a policy prescription
is not socialist.
It's not. It's moderate compared to the rest of the industrialized world.
No, but when you say like moving forward, I do think that you're gonna see Biden having to throw some more punches because he was doing all blocking last night, and like you said, he's in a frenzy. The reports are that his camp is in a total frenzy
flustered.
after being.
He looked like a confused old man.
Because it was Kamala Harris kind of.
It was
showed him what for.
It was so tactical how she did it too, because she told him, I love you, and I don't think you're a racist, and I really appreciate you wanting to work together, but
why did you do this terrible thing?
But you hurt my feelings, and why did you do this? And
Right.
then when he answered it, and she came back with some more for him, he was like, well, good Lord, I just answered the question. You know what I mean? Like, that's how he seemed to
It wasn't as
react.
bad as Jeff Sessions during his confirmation hearings, okay?
No, it wasn't. But man, you're completely misrepresenting my position on this and blah, 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 blah. Like, he was flustered.
Right, he did say that. Yeah, he was very. Yeah,
he was pissed. You could tell.
Misrepresenting your position is kind of the thing here. It's a debate.
Exactly. That's prove to me why you're not wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but as far as Bernie with what he said, with when you do that, you put it. I think that he's gonna have to come at more people for not being left enough, which I think he didn't do, which is surprising because it's kind of his main thing. And he was given that pitch right in the beginning, and it wasn't a softball pitch. I mean, it was like you said, it was asked from a right-wing perspective. Why the hell would we elect a socialist? Explain yourself, kind of a thing. But I think that in the future he's going to start going, well, why the heck aren't your policies farther left? Why do we have to deal with this, that, and the other? How does that take care of this problem? He's going to have to do that. I think he may have been trying to take an Elizabeth Warren route and got way too prodded. You know, the bear was poked.
They're not pressing Elizabeth Warren, and I have a conspiracy theory about it. I'll share. I think Elizabeth Warren is going to wind up being Hillary Light. I think she is. I think she is doing the hey, she's doing it the best as well. She's doing the hey, I'm super leftist, but if she gets the nominee, I think she will pivot. And I think that's
Which
why
is what every candidate's going to want to do.
Right, but she's getting the easy questions.
Except for Bernie.
And thank you for my point. She's getting the easy questions. They're trying to get Bernie the F out of here.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're giving him these hard fastball questions, trying to get him to show
I think Biden is kind of getting shown in a bad light as well. However, he also showed how ill prepared he was. If he was prepared at all, I don't think that he would have shown up so bad.
For the person who got the most airtime, well, what would have been the most airtime,
if it wasn't for Kamala.
If it wasn't for Kamala, he would have done better, but he just wasn't ready. I think he thought that going into this campaign, being Barack Obama's VP was just going to take him right to the promised land. But
it could have been so much worse.
There's a lot of talent on that stage last night and the night before. And I think we're looking at some of the candidates over the course of the next 10 years that are going to be trying to be elected and stuff. So
I think we got rid of 7 candidates out of the 24 last night.
You ain't lying.
I think that the 4 that didn't make it to the debates know they're done, because if you can't even get on the stage, look at Yang. He was there and he still didn't do anything.
Nope.
I think, again, that's another person. I think Yang's done. You can't get laughed at on the first debate stage and think you're going to stick around.
If he comes back,
it's got to be through social media following. It's got to be through post. He's got
the coolest slogan, Yang Gang. I
understand.
Yang Gang.
He's got the cool slogan, and hopefully. For him, hopefully that pulls the
weight,
the really young voters, the voters born after 2000, as surprising as that is. Those voters are going to stick with Yang no matter how he does in the debate, because the moments he did talk, they heard exactly what they wanted to hear.
Also, because he's not, and to be fair, he's not an annoying person like John Delaney was, or Tim Ryan, in my opinion, was.
Right.
He's not. He doesn't have charisma. He's really good at a conversation, but as far as getting up, when he answered questions,
then he should realize he's done.
Awkward.
That's my point.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, if he were to make it to the next round, that would be why. And if he
does, he better start talking.
Yep.
He would need to start talking.
I'm with you though. I don't think he's going to be there. I think it's him.
Now I think he has a better chance of showing up than Ryan or Delaney. Like I said, Delaney might be done and just not know it.
Right.
He might be there, but not really.
His fireworks
be
might
part of
bring him to the next round.
Right.
We'll see.
But I think surprisingly enough, Yang is done, and I think Mayor Pete's going to be polling a lot higher than he did before this debate.
Word.
I really do believe that. And again, the winner would, out of both nights, the winner that's going to progress the most, someone that just got herself a solid seat at the table in the top 5, was Kamala Harris.
Hey, man, I think I remember way too early 2020 episode where my bold prediction was Kamala would be the next president of the United States. So since then,
even though you've been on a roller coaster of doubt since then,
absolutely.
Because if I asked you a week ago,
if you asked me a week,
I was so wrong.
Yeah, I would have said that.
If she gets the nominee, she wins. Yeah. I will admit that right now.
Oh, I was talking to my mom today, and my mom was like, "Look, I don't think she's gonna be the nominee, but she would eat Trump's lunch."
Absolutely,
and I would love to see that.
Cory Booker wishes he was that good.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And I think
definitely
that they're
on the outside.
I'm excited to see Cory Booker and Kamala Harris on the same debate stage, because their policies have seemed to be kind of in the same camp. Cory Booker's farther left. He's known for being farther left.
And he was farther left before Kamala. Kamala is making a pivot.
I'm thinking that if anyone's going to bring up voting record, if anyone's going to bring up the school-to-prison pipeline, it'll be Cory Booker. That's something you can look for in the future. Something else Cory Booker's going to do that may or may not help him is bring up the crime bill of '94. If Bernie doesn't do it, then Booker's going to do it. So that'll be something else that Biden's going to have to defend his position on, which I don't think he's going to do a very good job of doing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, as far as that, it's what Mayor Pete's going to do in response to the gun control stuff. That's going to be something else, because now gun control is his hot topic. If you talk about Mayor Pete, it's like, yeah, I like him, but I don't know about a gun control. And it's because of the shooting. It's because of the way he answered last night and got drowned by Swalwell. Swalwell, I think he did a good amount for himself. I don't see him getting any closer to the nomination.
Honestly, I think if it's between him and Williamson, I think he probably will move to the next debate. If it's between those two,
I don't know, man. Don't underestimate.
I don't want to. I'm not trying to
the
counter
Oprah Book
out.
Club.
Right. I'm not trying to counter out or anything like that. I just think, as far as policy substance and the ability to go after somebody, I don't know.
He's
I just
actually a
feel like-
politician. That's why you feel that way.
Right. Yeah.
He was better at the political debate part of it.
Right.
But again, Williamson is pulling the kind of what Trump did last time around. I'm not a politician. Y'all are all crazy liars. I'm an average Joe person. I'm just an American, and I'm here because Oprah Winfrey's stickers on my book.
All right, man. Well, with that being said, that's it for me. You got anything else?
No, I'm just going to plug the website, www.thedeadcenterpodcast.com.
Absolutely.
Everything's on there. If you want to listen to us on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, all of it's on there. Our Facebook links is on there, and our Facebook, I believe, has a link to our website as well. And that's
you covered it all right.
Yeah,
there,
just check
man.
us out, like, share, subscribe,
Yeah.
give us some love because we love you guys.
All right, man. With that being said, I'm Trip.
And I'm Jim.
This is Dead Center, where we like to conversate, not constipate, and
Get to the point.
Love y'all. See y'all next time.
Peace.
Common ground, never middleman, understand. This is Trippin' Jim, we do what we want, you do what you can. Can you comprehend? If I think, then therefore I am. This is not a test, y'all should've came with a plan. I'ma stand on this conversation, ain't no constant hating. You need to get to the point, and we bringing in navigation. If it's a fork in the road, we'll make a lane in the grass.
You are now tuned in to the Dead Center Podcast.